We are moving on in our division journey to include division with decimals. And our first step with that is dividing decimal numbers by whole numbers, which means the decimal number, it is called, what is that word? The dividend. So the number inside the house, the dividend, is going to have our decimal. Somewhere in here is going to have the decimal. Divided by your divisor is going to be a whole number. Okay? So our first one is going to be divide a decimal by one-digit number. And here's a little word problem. You don't have to write the word problem. If you go into your student book, your student activity book, this is in there. This is the top one. So 3 friends set up a lemonade stand, and they made $20.25. They will share the money equally. And it says study the steps below, but we're going to do that. We're going to do the steps below together. So this division problem is pretty straightforward. Our dividend, the number that we're trying to divvy up or divide amongst people, is this 2025. Thumbs up if you agree. Awesome. How many friends are we trying to get it to? 3 friends. So what does that look like? 3 into $20.25. So turn to your neighbor really quickly and see if you think, kind of talk to each other and see how what do you think how you solve this? When you have the decimal in the dividend, the best thing to do is to move it right into your quotient. Okay? So when the $20 is split 3 ways, let's talk at the $20. When the $20 is split 3 ways, how much is each person going to get? I'm hearing 6. So we'll continue to do our normal thing. So what do you have left? You have $2.20. Let's start there. So now you're looking at 20 dimes, or 2 dimes and 22 dimes. There are 22 dimes. How are you going to divide that by 3? Well, I know that 3 times 7 is 21. That leaves me with 15 cents. If I were to take 15 cents and divide that by 3, what would I get? 5. Each person would get a nickel, right? So each person would get $6.75. So when you have that decimal in the dividend, you can divide just the dollars, divide just the cents, and keep your decimal in the same place as it was in the dividend. I always like to say, just shove it up into the quotient. Just push it right in the same place. That's why lining up our numbers and those kinds of things is very important in division. The next little piece is dividing a decimal by a 2-digit number. So a company bought 38 sandwiches for a business meeting. Each sandwich costs the same amount. The sandwiches cost $161.12 in all. What was the price of each sandwich? So the numbers that I'm most concerned about are there's 38 sandwiches. It cost $161.12. So the number that I'm trying to divide up to figure out how much one sandwich costs is $161.12. And I'm going to divide that by 38. Now, to come up with my first number in the quotient, I'm going to think of 38 as 40. So I know that 40 goes into 160 4 times. So I'm going to first see if that works with my 38. So I'm going to say 30 times 4 is 120. 4 times 8 is 32. 152. Sounds good to me. What do you think, friends? Looks pretty good. I'm going to do my regular subtraction. Bring down the 1. I'm going to put this decimal right into the quotient. Okay? Now, again, I'm going to think, how many times does 40 go into 90? 2 is 80, so let's try 2. 2 times 30 is 60. 2 times 8 is 16. 76. Looks pretty good to me. 5, 1. Bring down the 2. So now I'm splitting up $1.52, 38 ways, and hey, look at that, 152, 152, 4. So how much did each sandwich cost? $4.24. Like I said, this is the easiest of dividing with the decimals because that decimal just goes right into your quotient. Because you can divide up cents. Now, sometimes you have to add zeros to the dividend in order for you to be able to divide it out evenly. Okay? So adding zeros at the end of a number after the decimal, does it change the value of it? No. If it's after the decimal point, it does not change the value. It's still $78, right? So, 8 friends bought movie tickets. The total cost for the tickets was $78. But I want you to notice how they did $78. Okay? How much did each friend pay? So they have 8 friends, $78. So we're going to take $78. We're going to divide that by 8. Well, we can do 8 into 78, right? 9. Well, I still have $6 left to divide up. How do I do that? You add that decimal point, right? So you're going to put decimal 0, 0. Still $78, yeah? Agreed? We're going to put the decimal point right into the quotient. And then you can bring down the 0 and carry on your dividing out. So 8 into 60 goes 7 times. Bring down the 0. 8 into 40. So how much did each friend pay? $9.78. So what I wanted you to see was that sometimes you need to add zeros in to be able to divide it out equally. You're not changing the value of 78, are you? You're just making it dollars and cents. Okay? The last little piece that I want to talk to you about today is patterns in division by powers of 10. Weren't there patterns in multiplying by powers of 10? Same thing applies for dividing by 10. Okay? So 10 to the first power is how much? 10. 10 to the second power is how much? 10 to the third power is how much? It's multiplying, right? 10 one time. 10 2 times, 10 3 times, right? So the exponent tells you how many times to use 10 as a factor. And that also tells me how many zeros there are in the answer, right? Or how many places there are in the answer. So when it comes time to do division, you know how we said if you're multiplying by a fraction, you move which way? If you're multiplying by a whole number, you move which way? Talk with your neighbor and see if you can remember that. Which way did we move? Okay, some of you are noticing our place value chart on the back. At the top, it says when you're multiplying by 10, this is what it looks like. I'll draw it on here so people in the video can see. So if on the left it says times 10, that means it's getting larger, and you shift your numbers to the left, right? Okay. When you're dividing by 10, what happens? Your numbers are getting smaller, and your numbers are going to shift to the right. All right? So, for example, 50 and 7/10 divided by 1/10. A 10 to the first power. So divided by 10, basically. This number is going to get bigger or smaller. Say it really loud. It's going to get smaller. So I'm going to shift all of these numbers over how many times? Once. So the answer is 5 7/100. Do you see how I shifted this whole 50? I've shifted it once over. So the decimal went this way. You see that? Okay. So what if I were to divide 50 and 7/10 divided by 10 to the second power? How many shifts is it going to take? 2 shifts to the right. So we're going to move. It's now going to be what? 507 thousandths. So you see the shift twice? 1, 2. We're moving your numbers to the right. You want your number to get smaller. So when your number is getting smaller, your number is moving to the right. Your decimal is shifting to the left. Okay, but I want you to kind of, if you could physically pick up this number, you physically could pick up that number, how many times would you move it past the decimal? Okay, let's focus on one of those. So here, how many times are you going to shift it? 3 times. So it would be like this, but there's going to be another 0 in front. 5, 0, 7. So you went 1, 2, 3. Do you see that? Yep. So it would be 507 10,000ths because you're getting that number smaller. So let's try that over here. What would 7 8/10 divided by 10 be? 78 hundredths. Remember, you want to put that 0 before the decimal because that's our signal. Hey, there's a decimal there. That helps us know that. What would 7 8/10 divided by 10 to the second power be? 78 thousandths. And 7 8/10 divided by 10 to the third power?
78 10,000.
Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 0, 0, decimal point 0. Okay, so I hope